Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back, welcoming you to the Tuesday Tussle for this Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. We're calling this evening's discussion Raising the Game. Yeah. You see, you have to have something to shoot for in life and in our beloved sport of boxing. And in order to have something set within your sights, it must be lofted just out of reach so you can have something to reach for. Not easily attainable, but just there where you require effort, sweat, a little elbow grease. That's what the old folks used to say. So when you're raising the game, you're looking to get beyond the present state that is either below or right at average. This is what we need to do in order to get better in life. So we're talking about that this evening. Are you ready to raise your game? You hear that melody that's playing in the background? I searched far and wide to get something to accommodate this show, and I finally found a beat that kind of gives me that ambiance, that which I seek when I'm trying to convey my messages through this platform on this particular show. Because I use a variety of tunes. My creative process is predicated on kind of venturing where sometimes others don't go. That's where my individuality stands out. Because each person needs to carve a place out for themselves in this life. It's what I look to do. So welcome everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday Tussle. We're going to talk about raising the game. Yeah. We can check and see who we got in the building this evening. There's a few of you out there. Some people will still be filing in, others yet and still may just be peeping through the blinds and the bushes, Yeah. Jimmy Bernard is out there saying, salute Sensei, what's good chat. Universal is also saluting Sensei and chat. Derek Gaines saying, yo, salute my brother. Right back at you. Chilltown Majors is in the building saying, Stormy, salute, chat, good evening. Adrian Viet is back with us saying, salute Seafood, right back at you. Hope you guys are doing well. YouTube keep messing around. I see what Drew be talking about. I can see your handles. They're not the usual. They've got those numbers behind them. They keep switching certain things up, but yet and still won't do the proper things, such as getting our notifications out on time and in a timely fashion. Not putting me out there in the algorithms correctly. And boy, are they keeping a cap on my growth, man. I've watched some people who have come up behind me and go right past me. Not boxing content creators, but I'm subscribed to several other points of interest for myself. I saw a guy who was just at like 3,000 subs a little over a month and a half ago. The guy's at 11,000 now. And the funny thing about it is, he's talking about comic book movie stuff, But the restrictions that are upon me, it's not about having quality content. It's about guilt by association, affiliation, and who and what I rep out here. And if that be the tell-all, then it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. Because if a person can't stand for something, they're entitled to fall for anything. And over this way, on these airwaves, I always bring the real, solid. Do I know everything? Absolutely not. But when I do bring something to you, quality be at the base of it, the foundation. Always something to build upon. And it'll remain that way. But when I'm no longer here, people will be able to remember that what I stood for, what I supported and put my energies behind, there are many who can be bought and have sold out. You just won't see that here. Mr. Shelton, what's good with you? I see you out there, brother. Got your shoes off. I smell corn chips. Yeah. So raising the game, man. There are people who are participants of the sport that have raised the game, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. Such come to mind as the father and son tandem of Bill and Devin Haney. These two have been hard at work over the past several years, bringing us quality. Tay-Tay, the real queen of MMA and combat talk. What's going on with you, Tay-Tay, little sister? Mr. Shelton says, gotta let them breathe. Yeah, man. Turn the fan on and open the windows because we smell them corn chips, brother. They funky. Yeah. But these two men, Devin is a guy who is a well-spoken young man. And as he presents himself at press conferences, in personal one-on-one interviews, Jimmy Bernard, he's out there with that queasy emoji. That's for Mr. Shelton's feet. Yeah! Devin represents very well. And so does his dad, especially when it comes to getting Devin the best deals that he can and has over the extended period of his career. Regardless of what these young men who troll and don't like them or profess to not support or like these gentlemen. They've done it in a very independent, upstanding way. And hats off to them for raising the game. You see, over the past couple of years, we've seen a few young fighters in need of new direction and guidance, because the sport of boxing can be something that will chew you up and spew you out when it's done. And some of the young people have elected to go and join allegiance with factions that have never really supported the fighters very well, often leaving integrity out of the equation, and off the table of consideration would be their economic growth. There are still people out there who are leeches, who drain not only the life out of the fighters, but they drain their bank accounts, sometimes smothering them that they don't have proper economic standing. One of the things that confuses me so much, but not in the sense of having ignorance toward it, but would be why people don't look Bill up more, especially when you want to exercise independence. You see, he learned from being close and observing, but he also understands how it works in the boardroom. Now, he can come out here on channels and give interviews and share with various people who have platforms. But he's like a chameleon. He can mold himself to be able to get the message out to whomever he needs to. And that within itself is an admirable quality and trait. So it befuddles me that people don't look to this man more. But the adopted slave mentality is so strong. The proverbial jig germ, as 78 once quoted it, is so dominant. It doesn't allow one to consider self-preservation. Yeah. Stephen L. Mack, what's good with you? He says, Sensei, you know I'm about to clock in to work soon, but I'm here until then. Okay, Stephen L. Salute to you, brother. Hope you have a safe beginning, middle, and end of your shift. Huh? That's a hard-working brother there, taking care of his family. Yeah. Just like Bill was noted to be for his family. Hardworking. Now, when you raise the game, sometimes you raise the stakes, the value. The prize becomes more important, more significant, more coveted. And then there are others who don't want you to attain. So they'll set up roadblocks, pitfalls, detours, means for you to stumble. as it's always been said, there's a difference in walking the path and knowing the path. Bill is one of the few who does both. He knows where he walks. He illuminates where he's come from, so the path is readily seen ahead. Now, if you choose not to acknowledge that, who's the wiser? He who walks in darkness, or he who recognizes a lit path and road where you can see? You can see the pitfalls, you can see the roadblocks and detours, you can see that tries to get you off course. Yeah. It's there, people. Right there in front of your face. Salute to Jonathan Simon. Royal Constrictor, what's good? Yeah. So, raising the game. You know what you haven't heard from the Haney camp? Complaints about money. Yeah, the complaints about money. See, they're well fed. Partially because they have their own brand that they bring to the table of negotiations. You know how people will say, I'd like to thank Al Heyman. Salute to Al Heyman. Where the hell is Al Heyman? Go figure. People would talk about Bill. Oh, he talks too much. He always is out there. When Terrence Bud Crawford was quiet, you guys said he needed to talk more. When he began to talk more, you didn't like what he had to say. But Terrence began to talk more once he had learned more about the game, elevating not only his place in the game, his knowledge of the game, but his position of what he could take and leave on the table or leave as discarded. Meaning, he totally raised his game. Some of you don't like that. But look where he finds himself today. 3-time, 3-division, undisputed champion of the world. And some of your favorites won't ever get close to anything like that. Never. And he's near the end of his career. Not because we're looking to close the doors, but because of his particular motivations. He can now pick and choose to move how he'd like to move in the sport. This young man, pictured with his dad right here, will be able to do something similar, even if it's not through the achievements within the sport as far as in the ropes, inside the ropes. What he has done up to this point is so far removed from where a lot of his contemporaries are. It's befuddling within itself. Yet no one wants to take that example and say, hey brother, show me how I can be down. They'd rather cuss and swear, be disrespectful, be that character, from Django. The one that Samuel played. That's nothing to look up to. That's everything to look down upon. But so many of you carry that. You carry it. And that's why, as long as you're carrying that, the weight of that which you carry, you'll never be able to get beyond where you are. And there will constantly be others who pass you up and by. Let go of such childish, ignorant things. Raise your levels. King Style Productions, what's good with you, brother? Yeah. Jonathan Simon says he likes my instrumental. It's fire. He says, yes, sir, it is. There are others that we can observe in the sport that are trying to emulate what we're seeing of the dynamic duo, I'll call them, because what they're doing is quite dynamic. And if they were to garner the support that they should, they'd become an even more impactful enforcement within the sport. But there are others who are out there, and some will allow themselves to be used as forces of nature to be opposing. Have we not seen this? The Normans. Every time you turn something on now, you're seeing the dad out there. And because their sons are facing one another, his son against Devin, Bill's son Devin against Brian. The two men are talking and being stirred and edged on by various hosts of platforms. And the two of them have kind of seeped down into that, and I'm talking about both Bill and Brian Sr. But one of them understands the promotion aspect of what they do for their son is important, because that leaves the son to the business of the sport of training, preparing himself mentally, physically, emotionally. I'm just surprised as a former fighter, Senior hasn't taken that lead more for himself and his charge. But yet and still, I want to see success by both camps. And even though that they're facing off against one another, this November, it is still quality that they do this. I only hope that born of this will be more of an allegiance of understanding of what that representation truly means for others out there in the sport. I have a sneaky suspicion that some may catch on, but the majority may not. And that's okay, because as I've been known to state, everybody ain't gonna make it. But there are others still who can leave a mighty bright trail for the understanding of the significance of accomplishment. And that would be someone like Mr. Crawford. You see, what he has done, again, nobody can take that away from him. You can try to speak ill of him because you don't like him as a person, a fighter, a black man, whatever. But how did you come to know him? And what have you known him for? That should be where you start. I recently had the chance to speak on how I first came across this young man in the sport of boxing. And even from the first time that I saw him, I said, hey, you know, this kid's got something. He's going somewhere. Respect. There are others who you could look at, even presently in this day and time. Not a lot, but a handful. You say, wow, this kid's got something. But it has been a pleasure watching this particular young man go out and prove against the odds, to shut up critics, naysayers, the racists. It's been fun because he brings so much. That little kid from Omaha, Nebraska, is a man. Amongst lost boys. And he even said, he never had to sell his soul to arrive at his destination. That is more encouraging than anything. How do we not celebrate that? You know, some people used to live by, do you know what I had to do to achieve this? The unspeakable. Not he. And with his most recent accomplishment, it was his interview with Andre Ward, where he spoke of who inspired him to make the move that he made. Goes right back to this man, Bill Haney. Do you know how important that is? See, he could have taken credit and gone forward. But he gave acknowledgement. Integrity. It's important to understand that, people. Very important. There's not a lot of that left. It's not a lot left. How many of you feel that the upcoming battle between Norman Jr. and Haney will be a situation where more than just the fight at hand is taking place? How many of you feel that? Or have you even bothered to think about it? Are you just listening and not thinking to participate? It's like 4 or 5 people dropped off when I asked that question. Wow. That says a lot. It's okay. It's not going to stop me from talking about what I came on here to talk about this evening. Raising the game. You see all the people that's dropping off, that's their game won't be raised. They won't even meet the plane of which you start, the beginner's track. It's like you're off already. Universal says something was wrong with YouTube. I couldn't comment. Yeah, they do things like that too, to certain, content creators. Blue Blood talks about it all the time. Yeah, they do it, which is why we tell you guys all the time, share our content and everything. You're so disobedient and misinformed or whatever you want to call it, but you don't do your part. We consistently do our part. Consistently do our part. Drew Titan, the brother, LLC, says YouTube effed off my comments. He says, I've been typing for 7 minutes. Yeah, but there are people out there, Drew, that they won't type, but they there. Do you think I really have that many detractors and people that just don't like me that much? What do they come around here for? Why? They beat my real supporters in here every time out. Seeing that you can type now, Drew, what were you trying to add to the conversation, brother? I didn't even know you were there because I didn't read you, when I was doing the roll call. Stephen L. says, what does Brian have besides a left hook? That's all. People going all off. Listen, Stephen L. in chat, Brian is a nice young fighter. He really is, Brian Jr. But please don't get caught up in the notion that he is some knockout puncher. How many punches did Santillan take before he finally succumbed? Sasaki offered himself up like a lady in the night, and you slipped her that change already. The thing is, when you're getting hit back, it's different. Mayweather Sr. talked about that. Hitting back. See, Mayweather Sr., when he told us about Devin, in there working it out with Tank, he said it. Y'all remember this?
That's the question. it ain't worth asking because it was a one-way deal. It only one man controlled it. And that was devastating.
That was him talking about Devin sparring Tank. And Devin was a late teenager at that time. That's it. He ain't said that about Brian Norman Jr. Let me go back to the comments. Drew says, I was saying that putting aside the theatrics, when it comes down to what is going to happen, if you know what you're looking at, this fight is easy to call. Yes, it is, my brother. Yes, it is. He says, simply put, if Brian is put on the back foot, he may be confused. He may be confused even if he's coming forward on the front foot. Because we're talking about him going in against a man who is more versatile. Do you want a guy to come and fix the issues in your home, and all he has is a roll of duct tape, a hammer, a screwdriver, and some vice grips? Or do you want the guy who's going to pull up in that van, and outside in that van, he's got his tool set and asks you for the blueprints? Quite naturally, you're going to go for the guy who has proven himself to be more equipped It's easy. Drew says he's going to have to show me he has a different element to his game. King Style says Santillan was a punching bag for 9 rounds. If Norman had one punch power, he would have gotten him out of there earlier. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. King Styles is leading the way, huh? See, I like that kind of stuff. Yeah, I love it. Drew Titan says, now, I heard he has that gear, but I have yet to see it. What gear? Again, see, those are those kind of talking points that are very surface dwelling, huh? Because versatility means a lot, man. It really does. Jonathan says, Drew and Stormy, what the old school trainers used to say, you have to tame the bull. King Style says, how'd it go? I don't even ask the question. That's right. Mayweather Sr.'s talking, man. You gotta listen. Drew says, Brian was a gym legend until recently. Not to say that he can't be successful. I just have to actually see it. How many gym legends didn't pan out? Blue Blood Sports TV in the building. He says, salute to the OG, Stormy. What's good with you, Blue? And Blue, let me tell you something about that New York Chi-Town pizza ordeal that you were suggesting. I accept, huh? And I accept with the confidence of a man who knows about his pizza, huh? And I am willing to show you that we're going to put you to the test, and you're going to find out that you were incorrect in so many ways. But it's okay, because you will be a better man as of the experience, because you will have been fed quality paisan delicacies. You understand? And it has nothing to do with the vaunted deep dish. You feel me? Yeah. Salute to you, Blue. Yeah, man. I'm ready for some. Yeah, we're gonna make it happen. I'm and hey, listen, and I'm ready. And if the New York slices are that, I'm gonna tell you. You know what? I was wrong, because you know Stormy B Man is a stand-up individual amongst all these who lay down, huh? So I'll be standing on top of them saying you was wrong. Yeah. Anyway, back to what I was saying. These men, meaning Norman Sr., Haney, Bill, they have a great opportunity to represent something that we really hadn't seen in the sport. And the last time we had anything that was close to something like this, Don King was doing his thing, and there were others around like Butch Lewis and a couple of others, but it's like it wasn't quite a family affair, let's just say. And for Bill, it's not about monopoly, because I'm quite certain that he is of that ilk that, hey, if there is and we were just talking, Blue and I, a proverbial pie to be sliced and shared, everybody can get a slice of it. But the whole point of it is you don't come sticking your dirty fingers, in that pie. You got to come correct. You got to come with etiquette. You got to come with manners. Respect. That's important. That's important. And see, where I know Bill has the ability to pump the brakes on certain things, I'm not so certain that Mr. Norman Sr. has that discipline within himself. I've heard enough out there to make that assessment. Sometimes you have to just know how to get along. Sometimes you have to know how to go along. Sometimes you have to know that you gotta follow. Yeah. Now, those aspects and virtues that I just spoke of, a man of discernment can do that with humility. And ignoramus will fight it tooth and nail. And even to a point of destructiveness that it can blow the whole thing to shebang. There are some people who just don't understand, man. And they'll never get the message, because they're too busy defending the indefensible and spreading chaotic energy. Because if it's chaotic, maybe they can keep someone off center, off kilter, distracted, detracted. We got to be better than that. We got to be better. That's why I say these two men here, this father and son tandem, are enlightening in a way that many people just can't get with. But it's going to be strong and it's going to be solid until the very end, because they have great purpose with what they do and what they bring, and they live through God's lead. That's important too, God's lead, not your own. There are too many people who can't get the message, but the message isn't for everyone. It isn't. Jonathan Simon says, Emmanuel Stewart as well. He was a great trainer. He also had a great mindset for also the business side for his fighters as their manager. There have been good managers and there have been horrible managers, and some of everything in between. I wonder how many people missed out on being able to comment, Drew, after you made that known that you weren't able to type. There's been a lot of funny business going on behind the scenes, man, just too much. But I just pressed through and I soldier on, man. Dale.Real says, I'm late to class. Salute, Stormy. Salute to you, brother. You're late, and so you get a failing grade for tonight, because guess what? The show is about to sign off, man. So you come in at the last minute, and there's no rice for you, huh? Yeah, Drew. Did you hear me when I said, because I didn't know if you were in the chat, when I said earlier, I have a couple of guys that I follow, that comic book content creators or whatever, don't even talk boxing or whatever. Guys with like 2,000, 2,500 subs or something like that. One of them, he's now over 11,000 subs, and that was just 2 months ago. They're free to grow, free. No restrictions. There's all kind of restrictions on my channel. Restrictions on my growth, restrictions on my monetization, restrictions on my being in the algorithm. You can't even find Stormy B Man in the algorithm. There's a Stormy Space Man. Who the fuck put that out there? I didn't put that out there. Someone did, though. So it is what it is. But like I said, a man has to stand for something, otherwise he can be entitled to fall for anything. And guess what? I'm not falling for anything. I'm standing. Standing. Yeah, that's right. That's what I said. There's a restriction. That's what I meant. He's being pushed, and I'm not being pushed. I got some of the most solid content that you can tune into, and conversation. And if I'm true to what I say, I don't think I've even used a swear word in this show this evening. But hey, but I'm going to stand for what I stand for and who I stand with. There's not going to be anything they can do about that. That's very true there, Jonathan Simon. Very true. Yep. By the way, before I get ready to sign off here this evening, I'm going to share something with you guys. I made a new video intro for some of my videos. I still have a mixture of different video intros, but I made this one today, and it's a total dedication to the brother Terrence Crawford. So I want you guys to check out this. I'm going to play it. It'll get released with one of my future new videos, but I pretty much got my premieres ready for the week, so you guys will be able to check this out. Just let me know what you think of it. It's a little joint I did dedicating to the pound for pound king, huh? Yeah! So feast your eyes upon this, man. Let me know what you guys think, because I just thought I would, put it up here and you guys could check it out. So you can consider this a premiere of sorts for this new intro. Yeah. What you think about that, huh? Stormy B Man, huh? Yeah. Pound for pound. You see? This is what we should do for our heroes. We should celebrate them like that, huh? And I'm not telling nobody what to do. Only thing I'm trying to say is this. Do you not think that they do that for other people, huh? Ever since the man won that fight and made history against all of those detractors and naysayers who went against him, I've done nothing but speak to him in positive light. And then you have these other monkeys, for lack of a better word to call them, who've come along. Oh, I knew it all the time. And, I had a feeling and this and that. The only feeling that you had, was that you would be found out, for being a turncoat. And man, I would love to use some other foul words, but I just can't bring myself to do it at this time because I've refrained for the entire show. But yeah, so you can look for that in the mix of future video content that I do, and you'll see that. But that's a dedication for the 3 division, 3 times undisputed, pound for pound. And notice I put that in there too. Pound for pound. Every time I showed the image of him whacking on Canelo, because Netflix has the rights to the clips on that, so I just put the images. But every time I put the images of him whacking on Canelo, you notice I put that pound for pound there. Because it's undeniable, right? Everything I do has purpose behind it. Yeah. See, them sellouts, they don't do stuff like that. And they can have fucking 2 million subscribers. But they'll never take a stand for someone who deserves it. Just remember that. Yep. It is what it is. And I'm always going to stand on truth. Yep. It's just where it's going to be. So, they can say what they want. Try to hold me back all they want. But it's going to be what it's going to be. Yep. I appreciate everybody that came out, showed me a little love this evening, a little support. I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC. And we will catch you guys on the next one. Peace to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week.
if Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me. Especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never got off.
You think he's on steroids?
Of course. How does five?
You saw De La Hoya.
How do five people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids?
Right.
All those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
All gonna be the same.
I try it, but my body just not let me go. And you need to accept it. That's it. I hit Crawford, but no clean shots, like with all my power. He's a great fighter. He's a good fighter. He knows how to move and everything.
Oh, what a nice day. Look at Jessica. Jessica, what are you doing? You know you can't swim. Get away from the water, Jessica. Jessica, get away from the, oh my God. Somebody help Jessica, please, she can't swim. Go ahead, Jessica, run! Jessica, no! Oh my God! No, Jessica! No, the water is pulling her back in. Where's the lifeguard? Lifeguard, hurry up! You can't swim! Jessica, no! Lifeguard, please save her! Yes, do lifeguard! Save her, no! Please, Jessica! Oh, look, hey, that husband is coming. Oh, you want to Hey, please, save her. Jessica, they're coming now. They're here. Jessica.